So in the box office world dominated by juggernauts like Michael the Movie, Project Hail Mary, and Super Mario Galaxy, how can tiny little horror movies perform? Well, not very good, as we're about to find out. Before we start, welcome to Keep It Frank Live, where I give you my real takes, no sugarcoating, only straight up opinions on movies, Hollywood news. So if you're into real talk, go ahead and subscribe, and let's keep it frank together. So not many new horror movies were released this past weekend. The only one really was Over Your Dead Body, which can we really consider that a horror film? But I will, because it had more blood and gore than a lot of horror movies we've seen in the last couple of years. So I'm going to put it as horror. And it has Samara Weaving, the queen of horror. So I'm going to call it horror. Horror movies this past weekend did not perform very well because they're competing with three huge films. I mean, look at this top three. Michael, Super Mario, and Project Hail Mary. All of them with numbers of millions of dollars worldwide already. And Mario is almost at the $1 billion mark with $832 million worldwide. So clearly it's expected that horror movies are not going to do very well, unfortunately, and they are not going to be able to scare the competition at all. And that's fine. But you know who kind of is laughing right now? Lee Cronin. And I'll tell you why. Because right there, as you can see, at the number 4 spot is The Mummy. And despite terrible reviews of The Mummy and his Mummy reimagination, the movie is making money and profiting already. I mean, that is so good to see for this film because critics hated it, and I was kind of one of them. But it did break even already, and like I said, it's profiting. It made this weekend $5 million, and right now it's $23 million domestic. Not bad. But worldwide, it's at $67 million. And the break-even point was $55 million. So that movie is profiting already. And it's only going to make more money when it hits digital and then streaming. Now, you might think this is nothing to celebrate in the streets for. And you're probably right. But what's important to remember here is that studios will take notice of Lee Cronin that despite bad reviews for the film, not because he made a bad movie, but because it's not a mummy film, the movie was still able to make money and profit, which is what the director needs to do for a studio film. So any studio executive out there will be happy to hire him because clearly in the horror community, even though Lee Cronin hasn't really proved himself as this big worthy director like a Wes Craven or a John Carpenter to have his name on the titles of his movies, but I feel like now, because of this film, we all know his name. He is kind of worthy because he did deliver some money. So now we all know him. Now we all know that he really is a good director and he can deliver good films. So he can hold his head up high. I'm just going to warn him and tell him, hey, next time you need to pick a better film and not something that requires you to deliver a mommy film and then you don't deliver that. So make sure you pick something that plays to your strengths. But you go, Lee Cronin, go laugh your way all the way to the bank because you made some money. And the new release this weekend was Over Your Dead Body, which, by the way, amazing cast. Samara Weaving, Jason Segel, who I'm not really a fan of, but I actually enjoyed him in the movie. Timothy Olyphant, Mickey, and Juliette Lewis, okay? So great cast. If you haven't seen this film, I still don't know if I recommend you to go watch it in theaters, but it's definitely something that you should watch. My review, I kind of wanted to put it out earlier this week, but my microphones, unfortunately, I damaged them. I put them into the washing machine, so I had to order a new one. But I'm glad that happened because I feel like my new one is much better quality. So you go me. But yes, this movie, I will try to have a review by the end of the week. And I did enjoy it. It has a lot of flaws, but it's still something that a horror fan should go see. I'm calling it the new date movie for horror fans, and you'll see why when you see it. But this film clearly did not make any money, and people did not care to go see it. It only made 1.3 million, and I couldn't even find the budget for this film. So I couldn't even tell you if it made its money back, if it's going to profit, if it broke even. I don't know. What I can tell you, though, is that with a cast like Timothy Olyphant, Juliette Lewis, Jason Segel, and Samara Weaving, this movie at least has to be at $5 million to about 15 million. So with making only 1.3 million, and it did not release international, so it's only made 1.3 domestic, that's a flop, unfortunately, which makes me feel really sad for Samara Weaving, because I just asked you guys last week, why do you think nobody cares to go see her films? I really like her, especially in horror. So why is it that people are not connecting with her? She's so talented. And I still can't believe she is the niece of the guy, Hugo Weaving, the guy from The Matrix and so many other movies. Like, it's bonkers to think that she's his niece. And nobody cares to see her films. It's, it's really sad. But this movie was a flopazoid, unfortunately. And the other horror movie right now in the top 20 box office is a Japanese film called Exit 8. This is based on a Japanese game that I have never even heard of, and clearly Americans have not heard at all, because it is flopping hard here in America. So this movie right now is sitting at $3.5 million domestic. And this past weekend, it made $253,000 only, which kind of sucks. However, this is a huge success of a film. Listen to this. So right now, it has made $42 million worldwide on a budget of $4 million. Huge success. Cha-ching! So good for this team. And to be honest, I saw the trailer for this movie not too long ago in theaters, and it really intrigued me to go see it. I just haven't made time, but I do want to watch this one, and visually it looks interesting enough that I kind of want to go see it in theaters, but it might be a streaming movie if you want to wait. And last on this list is Scream 7. You know that's my franchise, and it's really not even in the top 20 anymore. It's number 21 now. So it's out of the top 20 finally. And you know why? It's out of the top 20 because Fight Club was re-released in theaters and it pushed it out of the top 20. That's a fight right there. But clearly Scream 7 is not crying and it's not suffering, because Spyglass is really happy with this film. It made so far $213.8 million worldwide. The best in the franchise. I still don't know how, because man, the movie was not very good at all. I wish it would have been a better film. But hey, it's Scream, and I'll take whatever I can get and I'll enjoy it, but I'll still ask for better next time. And then jumping into the Apple Top 10 list, on digital, we have several horror movies still making some money there. We have the number 5 spot, They Will Kill You. Again, I really enjoyed that film. If you haven't seen it, I recommend it. Fun movie. We have Scream 7 at the 7th spot. Ha ha ha. That must be a joke, but it's at the 7th spot, still making money. So not only is it the biggest box office film of the franchise, it's still making money in digital. So cha-ching for Spyglass, making good money. And then at the number 8 spot, The Substance. How the hell is The Substance number 8? I'll tell you why. Because Apple TV right now has a really good deal, $4.99 for a ton of movies. And The Substance is one of those films. And that's why it's in the top 10. Have you seen The Substance? Would you buy it at that price? I'm kind of considering buying it. So let me know what you would do. And then at the number 10 spot, look at that, Send Help. That movie came out in February and is still in the top 10 in Apple TV in digital, making money. That is crazy. So good for Sam Raimi and for Rachel McAdams. And then I want to ask you a question. The Housemaid, it's right there as a thriller. Do you think that movie should be considered horror? I know it's a sexy thriller, and it's not really the classic type of a horror film, but it's kind of scary at some points. What do you think? I'm curious to know your thoughts. Let me know. And as for this weekend, we have two really good movies coming out. I'm really excited. It's a good weekend. We are going to be eating really good. We have Hokum and we have Deep Water. Now, I will watch both films, so expect my reviews hopefully by Friday or Saturday. I have to work, so I will have to watch the film and then do my review late at night, which is tough for me to do because I have to get up early for work, but I'm gonna do it for you guys, okay? So expect those this weekend. So which one will you be watching? I'm curious which one will win the battle of horror this coming weekend. Will you watch Hokum? Will you watch Deep Water instead? Or will you watch both like me? So which one has you more excited? I'm personally more excited for Deep Water, and I'll tell you why. Number one, because it's directed by Rennie Harlin, the director of Deep Blue Sea. Yeah, motherfucker, that's the movie that got us into shark movies. All of you say it's Jaws, but you know it's Deep Blue Sea. We love that film. We grew up with it, and it was so freaking good. So he's back to making another shark movie, and we cannot miss that film. In case it's good. And so far from the trailer, it looks really fun. So I'm excited. And the other reason why I'm excited for that one is because the one that came out recently on Netflix, Thrash, total trash, garbage. Did I enjoy it? Sure. But I need something to cleanse my palate and give me a better shark film. And I think Rennie Harlin is going to do that. All right, guys, that's this week's Horror Box Office. What movie are you rooting for to win the battle of horror at the box office this coming weekend? Is it Hokum or Deep Water? And as always, remember to subscribe for more Keep It Frank Live.